Got the next installment of the magnetization project for the Talos Chronos. I have magnets in almost everything I need to now. I have the arms set up to where they'll work with most options. I really haven't played around with it a whole lot to see how well weight-wise it's going to hold up, but you can see I have the arms in pieces here. So here's the actual arm attachment. So it's got one in the front part right there, and then one up there in the shoulder. So when you go to attach, you can attach that piece to it, and then a close combat weapon would go in right there. And the toxin injector comes as one whole piece, so it wouldn't need to go in that piece right there. But the liquefier gun here, and I had to do the same thing on a couple of close combat weapons, where it had the ball and the round part on the piston where it would make the part movable if you didn't glue it. I had to clip that off, so right here where I have the magnet, it would slide in there. I still got to do a little bit of shaving down on that. But the liquefier gun and these 4 close combat weapons that I have would do that. And then on the other arm, it takes either the close combat weapon or the chain flails. So like on the other arm, the close combat weapon would just fit in there, and that would attach to the shoulder forearm part. Or for the chain flail, it came with the pieces to just attach it by itself like that. So that's the arm pieces ready to go. If they'll stop popping against each other. And then the arm pieces for the Chronos are just one magnet there in the shoulder, then they're a whole piece together. The bottom parts of them, I just have one magnet in there, and then in here I have a magnet in there, but this part is the bottom on the Talos, but the tail piece for the Chronos. So I have another magnet in the back, so when you want it to be the Chronos and it goes in the back, you can put that piece on the back of it. But when you want it underneath the Talos, it just goes like that. You just have a painted magnet there, maybe a little glue to fill it in and sand it down to cover it up a little better. The tail pieces I had a little bit more of a problem with. You can see there's 2 magnets visible there, but there's actually 3 in there. And let me see if I can hold it. And I had 2 in there just because it's a big hollow space, and I didn't feel like doing any filling into it. But without this 3rd magnet put in again on the end, it makes it hang down weird when you attach it to the tail. You have to have the magnet out, where however many you use, to get it kind of even with this ring, because this is where the ball would socket. And you can see when I did that, I cut off part of the ball and put and drilled up and put the magnet. Most of these magnets are 1/18 of an inch, with the exception of the ones in the tail piece for the Chronos, the ones in the liquefier gun, and the ones in those close combat weapons. But the tail piece for the Talos sits kind of like that. And without that 3rd magnet in there, or without the magnet kind of near the bubble where it needs to be, the piece was hanging down a little like that. I had to put that other magnet in there to fix that. I've still got to get them glued in on all of them. They require a little bit of scraping off of the glue where they don't sit even where I had set the first 2 magnets in there. The carapace pieces, I ended up drilling through the top here, and you can see they set in there pretty deep to where they're sit most of the way out of the bottom of the hole on the bottom. So after gluing, I've put some green stuff in there to help hold them in so they won't just be prone to falling out. And I got another magnet in the body there that would attach to the torso like that. But I'm thinking I'm probably just going to glue that piece together and make it solid, because even though you can get some rotation with a magnet like that, it's still, when you get all other pieces on there and you start magnetizing it, it starts to move around and fiddly a lot. Having this piece solid and glued, you really help with taking the stuff on and off so it didn't move around on you and be really flimsy. But and then these are the central hub pieces. So there's one in there for the tail, and then there's one in there for the underneath part. That one right there, like I said, I'm probably not going to use it. I'm just going to glue the piece on. I still have these pieces they need to just glue on to this piece. These pieces right here, I just haven't done that. The last thing I have left that I'm going to need to magnetize are these forearm guards. These two, the toxin injector and the liquefier gun, both use those, and you only get enough for each one. But since I got two of them for two different models, I would either have to only have one gun available, and if I wanted to fill the same gun on both models, it wouldn't be possible. So I have to come up with some way to magnetize that into the forearm piece, because normally it would just slot into the top of that piece with that. And then in that forearm piece, you could also put a close combat weapon, and that's the guard that would go with the close combat weapon. But I could just, I'm toying with it whether or not I want to glue. I don't know how difficult those are going to be. I may just glue one of those on, and if a close combat goes in there, it'll just have to live with having the toxin injector liquefier gun piece there. It depends on how hard it's going to be to magnetize that. This is kind of the same thing for the top carapace for the tail weapons gun. These fit into the little slots on the top of the gun pieces, and I already have a magnet. You can see where that magnet embeds deep, where it's kind of a hollow space in there. I don't know with the polarity like it is how much trouble I'm going to have attaching something to it, because there's nothing to really drill in there. There's the where the piece would sit in, so I'll have to figure out something to do with that. I'm still toying with the ideas on that. And the head pieces here, I'd like to be able to change the little head pieces out, but you can see they're just kind of hollowed out masks, and they would sit on that piece right there. I'm thinking I'd have to shave a chunk off, shave enough of it off where I could put a magnet in this and still have a magnet just glued flat in here. So I would need almost 1/8 of an inch taken off of the head there to accommodate for the two magnets, or at least a 1/16 with one drilled in here, and then the other 1/16 taking up the width of the magnet. That's all for right now. I'll get back with another video later.